Peacemaker episode 5 changes everything. Chris finally leaves his home behind completely. But will the new one be the perfect place he wants it to be? This episode isn't just about a dimensional jump. It's about betrayal, regret, and secrets that'll redefine the entire show. And the 6 questions we're about to break down will show you how deep this episode actually gets. Welcome to The Real Spot, I'm Bobby Foster. Let's dive in. So the biggest question I have after watching this episode is, will Peacemaker ever get what he truly wants? I guessed in my last video that in this episode, Harcourt will do something that hurts Chris so much that he just ends up going into the other dimension for good. But I didn't expect that all to happen in this episode. I also didn't expect that him and Harcourt too would get together as soon as he got to the other dimension. But is that relationship going to be what he really wants it to be? Or is that love foreshadowing something darker going on? Because in the trailer for next week's episode, it seems like they're happy, but I think something else is going on. I think Peacemaker's going to learn that the attention and the praise that he's getting is not going to fill the void that he feels within himself. From previous episodes, I can't tell if Harcourt 2 actually likes him or if she's just a fan of him as much as everyone else is. She seems a bit starstruck by him. And even at the end of this episode, she runs towards him after he comes back from defeating a kaiju. So is she just like a gigantic fan? Is she in that relationship for the right reasons? Regardless, I think he's gonna find out that she is not like the other Harcourt and he's not gonna want to be with her. But that's not the only relationship I think Chris is gonna have a problem with. I think there's gonna be big drama between him, Keith, and his dad. In his own dimension, he doesn't agree with his dad's views on the world, and he thinks that his dad is a better person in the alternate dimension. I think that Chris is probably just as racist as his dad in this new dimension. Same thing with Keith. And so I think there's going to be a big showdown between Chris, Keith, and his dad. And when we get that fight where Chris is eventually going to have to kill his brother again in this alternate dimension, that's going to be heartbreaking. But talking about relationships, what in the world is going on with BORDEAUX and Rick Flag Sr.? At first it looked like they were flirting, but then BORDEAUX gave him a look at the end of the episode like she was suspicious of something. Almost like she was plotting in a way. Does she know something about Rick Flag Sr. that we don't know? Could he be hiding some type of secret that would change the entire plot? Because we found out this episode that BORDEAUX is a cyborg. So is she able to see something in him that we don't see? Here's my theory. I think Rick Flag Sr. could potentially be Clayface. Now this may be way out there, but hear me out. There's been a lot of references to Gotham in this season, and BORDEAUX being one of those as well. And Clayface also resides in Gotham. But here's the biggest detail we have to pay attention to. In the first episode, when Chris meets alternate dimension Chris, he asks him if he's a shapeshifter. And we all know that Clayface is a shapeshifter. So I think at the very least, that is a subtle nod to the fact that Clayface is in this season somewhere. Is he Rick Flag Sr.? I'm not sure. But we do know the last person that Clayface interacted with was Rick Flag Sr. in Creature Commandos. We're supposed to think that Clayface is dead, but we know that he has a movie coming out. And when they don't show a dead body, it's a rule in the movie and TV world that person ain't dead. So I don't think it's too much of a reach to think that he's now impersonating Rick Flag Sr. Also, Rick Flag Sr. was crazy strong when he was beating up Peacemaker. What do y'all think? Do you think Clayface could be Rick Flag Sr.? If not, do you think Clayface is in the show, and who do you think he could be? By the way, leave a like and subscribe if you want to see future videos like this on your feed. But there's an even bigger question when it comes to Rick Flag Sr., and that is, why does Rick Flag Sr. want Peacemaker? Now, we thought we knew the answer to this question, for revenge, but this episode changed all of that. We found out this episode that Rick Flag Sr. doesn't actually want that revenge on Chris, and it's actually part of a bigger plot. He says they need to find Peacemaker in the portal for the greater good of not just America, but the entire world.
Despite how it may seem, my priority is protecting the people of the United States. I need to find that dimensional rift. Not only so we could avoid another incident like the one in Metropolis, but for a greater purpose.
But what is so important about Peacemaker in this portal? I think the next step for Rick Flag Sr. is he's gonna go see Lex Luthor in Belle Reve prison. Because in the trailer, it says that he's going to Belle Reve. And also at the end of Superman, that's where they send Lex Luthor. But there's more to this theory as well. James Gunn confirmed that the Pocket Universe in Peacemaker is the same Pocket Universe in Superman. And we all know Lex Luthor is the one that found out how to go to that Pocket Universe. So I think Rick Flag Sr. is going to go to Lex Luthor to figure out more of what's really going on. James Gunn also confirmed that Peacemaker leads right into Man of Tomorrow. And Man of Tomorrow is about Lex Luthor and Superman. It's both of their stories. So I would not be surprised to see a Lex Luthor cameo at the end of Peacemaker. But why do you think Rick Flag Sr. needs to know about this portal so bad? Leave your theories below. And if you love talking about Peacemaker but have no one to talk about it with, go ahead and join the Real Spot Discord. We love talking about shows and would love to have you a part of those conversations. And remember how I said BORDEAUX was acting a little weird with how she was looking at Rick Flag Sr.? Well, she's not the only one that was acting a little strange this episode. So was FLEURY. And what I want to know is FLEURY about to go on Peacemaker's side? Because that's how I read this episode. It seemed like he was about to switch sides and be on Economos' side of things. And seeing him and Economos on this same team would be awesome. They're a great duo together in this show. Just comedy wise and their chemistry, like, it's awesome. But as far as FLEURY acting weird, there's a theory out there that he's going to be the Martian Manhunter. People are thinking that because of how awkward he is and he like isn't acting human. I don't know how much credibility there is to that theory, but I will say that there is something weird about FLEURY in this sense. From a writing place, so far FLEURY has just been a comedic relief, which that's odd for a show like Peacemaker because of how much comedy's in the show already. So I do think his character is going to be more important than we think. How? I'm not so sure yet. Leave your theories on that below. But it is interesting when he caught Rick Flag Sr. flirting with BORDEAUX, he seemed a little sad about that. So I'm wondering if he has some type of crush on BORDEAUX or something like that. Or I guess there could be something else going on. I don't know. I want to see how that develops. But what do you think is going on with FLEURY? Do you think there's going to be a huge twist with his character? Leave your thoughts on that below. And as far as there being a twist and things being bigger than we think, what are we thinking about Adebayo's security service here? What is its purpose? It is a major part of her character this season. It's her whole motivation. It's what caused her to break up with her partner, or at least have troubles with her partner. And it's getting brought up basically every episode that we see Adebayo. But so far, it's just been a bit. It's just been a joke. And just like FLEURY in that sense, I think there's something bigger going on here. I think it has a bigger purpose than that. Even in this episode, we have a whole entire scene dedicated towards it, and it's just one big joke. But I think it's going to have to take off somehow. I think either someone like Economos or Harcourt's going to join it or something. And when it becomes an actual thing, I wonder how it's going to play into the plot. I don't think it's just going to be a bit for the whole season. I really don't think that. Right now, very small, kind of insignificant detail of the overall show. But like I said, it means everything to Adebayo. So what do y'all think is going to happen with this security team? I really want to see where that goes. And then there's another plot point I want to see where it goes, which has to do with Eagly being the Prime Eagle. Because I called it. I said that Eagly was going to have a gigantic role this season with how everything was playing out. And now it's confirmed that Eagly has some superpowers, y'all. However, we have no idea what it actually means for him to be the Prime Eagle. Where does the show take his character from here? I think he's going to play some gigantic role in the alternate dimension because Eagly is the only thing Chris brought with him from his own dimension. Like, yes, Eagly is his sidekick and he's extremely meaningful to Chris, but nah. He gets revealed to have superpowers and then gets brought to the alternate dimension. There is a purpose for that. What I'm wondering is, does Chris know that Eagly has powers? Also, I want to know if his powers of getting all the birds together, if that will work in the alternate dimension. Or is there a Prime Eagle in that dimension and Eagly's gonna have some beef with him? So many questions there. I can't wait to see how that plays out. Eagly's been awesome this season. And those are the 6 big questions that we could tap into to help us appreciate and explore this episode more. And discussing these questions and theories is so fun, but now it's your turn. What questions and theories do you have? Leave those in the comments. But if you want to discuss them even further and more in depth, go ahead and leave them in the Real Spot Discord. Until next week's episode, I'll see you.